Hello, my name is Shanae Renfro. I'll be doing a children's book review of 5 nonfiction children's books geared toward the civil rights movement, slavery, and racism for my children's literature class at California Baptist University with Professor Kors. For my first book, I will be reviewing Heart and Soul, The Story of America and African Americans by Kadir Nelson. This book's target age and grade level is for anyone in 4th or 5th grade, ages 7 through 9. Heart and Soul is a book made up of short stories that are about African Americans during different time periods, from slavery, the effect the Declaration of Independence had on African Americans, the turn of the century, and the Great Migration of African Americans made from the South to the northern part of America. 5th grade, and will be a great introductory book during history class discussing the civil rights movement. I would say this book can introduce to the civil rights movement because it starts off talking about Africans and where we come from. It gradually leads up to the civil rights movement by sharing stories of main moments in American history that paved the way for African Americans today. Chapter 2 is discussing a story shared through the eyes of a first-person narrator who is telling his story about growing up being raised by his grandfather, who was a slave. Or in Chapter 5, titled Reconstruction. Reconstruction talks about when slaves were first set free. Besides the fact that this book is a chapter book, I like that a teacher can decide which chapter they would like to read to the class, or they can read the entire book. Either way, a student or a African Americans came from slavery and all the way up to freedom and the civil rights movement and just American history from the viewpoint of African Americans. I would definitely recommend this book to be read to or by anyone in the 4th or 5th grade, ages 7 through 9. Next, I chose The Civil Rights Movement by Nadia Higgins. This book is also a book that should be read to or by anyone in the 4th or 5th grade, ages 7 through 9. The Civil Rights Movement is like the last book. However, this one focuses mainly on the Civil Rights Movement as opposed to the other one, which focused mainly on African American history as a whole. I chose this book because it goes into great detail about the Civil Rights Movement and how African Americans were able to gain freedom, equal rights, liberty, and justice. This book will be great for a civil rights movement lesson, not only because it focuses mainly on civil rights, but because it also shows pictures of actual events that took place during the civil rights movement. Here's a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King in jail after he refused to stop boycotting the things that were happening. Here's a picture of dogs being sicked on African Americans because they would not stop boycotting. Here's a picture of some of the real signs that were posted up outside of facilities that separated whites from blacks. It has a timeline of the things that went on during the civil rights movement. Here's a picture of the church bombing when it killed 4 little girls in a black church. I really enjoyed this book. I think it is very informative, and as the other one was, it is also kid friendly. It just does a very great job at discussing what went on during the civil rights movement. I would recommend this book to any teacher, any student, any mother who wants to learn more about the civil rights movement. Next, I would be talking about Henry's Freedom Box. Henry's Freedom Box was also written by Kadir Nelson. Henry decided to ship himself to freedom. One wife and children were sold to a different slave owner. He decided to ship himself to William Johnson in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because William Johnson was also against slavery. I like this book a lot. It has very few words, less than Heart and Soul and the Civil Rights Movement book that I just reviewed. Although it has less words, it's very descriptive and does a great job at describing to readers as to what happened during Henry's escape to freedom. Unlike the Civil Rights Movement book, where there are actual photos of the event that happened, these are drawn images and they are very vivid. Do you see how great the illustrator was? He did a very great job illustrating, as it you can see is like as if he's pressed against glass. This book is great. I would recommend this book to any teacher, parent, or student that wants to learn about the civil rights movement. I would like to talk about this book, Back of the Bus by Aaron Nelson, which is about Rosa Parks, who is very well known for not getting up when she was asked to during the civil rights movement. This book, unlike the others, including Henry's Freedom Box, the illustration is not as vivid. I think that the illustrator wanted it to seem as if the reader was taking a trip back in time. This book definitely goes into great detail in talking about Rosa Parks and her experience she had while being put into jail because she would not get up and give her seat to a white man. Justice Henry's Freedom Box, Back of the Bus, uses fewer words than Heart and Soul and the Civil Rights Movement. However, the story is not shortened. I definitely would recommend Back of the Bus to any teacher, parent, or student who wants to learn more about the Civil Rights Movement. Lastly, I would love to talk about this book, Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges. This is one of my favorite books, and Ruby Bridges has always been one of my favorite people during the civil rights movement. I think any student reading this book or being read this book will be able to connect with Ruby Bridges because she was as young as they are or should be. This story should be read by anyone ages 7 through 9 or in 4th to 5th grade. This book shows real images of photos that were taken of Ruby and the chaos that occurred when she was chosen to be one of the first black children to enter great white schools. Here are some of the policemen having to stand outside of the school so that Ruby can be saved and make sure that nothing happens like the bombing that occurred at the church or anyone trying to hurt her in any type of way. Here's a woman threatening Ruby Bridges because she did not want her to go to the same school her kid was going to because they felt like Ruby Bridges was not smart enough or any black person was not smart enough to go to a white school. When in fact, Ruby Bridges was so smart that she passed 2 tests that got her put into the same school that parents thought that she was not smart enough to go to. This book is one of my favorite out of all 5, and I will recommend it to any teacher, parent, or student who wants to learn more about the civil rights movement. Furthermore, all 5 of these books are great books that can be read in any history class geared toward the civil rights movement. My name is Shanae Renfro, and that is my children's book review of 5 non-fiction children's literature books geared toward the civil rights movement. Thank you.